This is Three Wishes from Brave Red Smart Frog. There once was a woodcutter who lived near the edge of a frozen forest, a forest where it was always winter. Perhaps you know of it. The woodcutter did not cut wood in that forest because people in the towns nearby believed the trees were haunted by sprites who would take vengeance on anyone who cut down their homes. Therefore, each morning the woodcutter drove his cart and donkey several miles away to a sunny forest populated by bunnies and bluebirds. He cut down the trees there instead. He loved the bunnies, and he loved the bluebirds. He loved the smell of fresh cut wood and the feel of his axe in his hands. He loved his wife and his children. He loved his soft-nosed, dear old donkey. His name was Twig, this woodcutter, and he was very happy in his life. Then, one day, the donkey died. It was very old. After that, Twig became stupid with grief. True, it was only a donkey, but it had been his pet and helper for many years, and so he did not cut wood. Twig did not cut wood, and he did not cut wood, and therefore he did not sell wood, and he did not sell wood. Instead, he moped around the house, thinking about the donkey's soft nose and sweet, unquestioning nature. Finally, his wife Butter, who made dinner, did the accounts, and looked after their 4 children, said to him, "Twig, you have got to sell wood. You're a woodcutter." "I have no donkey to pull the cart," Twig answered. "Why not buy a new donkey?" "We are too poor. I have sold no wood for months on months, and our savings are gone." "Why didn't you buy a new donkey when the old one died?" "I was too sad. I loved our donkey." "You must cut wood in the frozen forest then," said Butter. "But it is nearby enough that you won't need the cart." "The frozen forest?" Twig was frightened. "If you do not cut wood, we will have nothing to eat in this house but boiled cabbage and fish heads." And although he did not like boiled cabbage and fish heads any more than you do, Twig was frightened of the frozen forest, and still he did not cut wood. He did not cut wood, and he did not cut wood, and he did not sell wood, and he did not sell wood. His children ate boiled cabbage and fish heads. He and Butter ate boiled cabbage and fish heads. And it was not long before the fish heads became too expensive, and they ate nothing but boiled cabbage, day in and day out. One afternoon, after lunching on cabbage while looking at the sad, cabbage-sick faces of his 4 children, Twig could take it no more. He shouldered his axe and pulled his wheelbarrow from the shed. He kissed his wife and walked bravely into the forest. The moment he set foot on the narrow path that went through the trees, Twig felt a chill. Only a few paces farther and he was shivering. His hands stiffened under his gloves, his ears turning pink with cold. The bare branches of the trees clicked across one another. No bunnies scrabbled in the underbrush. No bluebirds chirped in the branches. Twig could feel the cold through the soles of his boots. He went on for some time until, deeper into the wood, the trees became thick enough to cut down. He chose one that was a good size for splitting and carting home. He raised his axe. "Stop!" At his ear was a tree sprite. She was the same ash-brown color as the tree he was preparing to chop, with an angry face and wings like winter leaves, rusty, crumpled, and papery. "Don't cut my tree," cried the sprite. "I beg of you. Don't leave me to the mercy of the wolves and the ravens. They are starving and have no mercy to spare. Without the tree to protect me, I'll be dead before nightfall." "I'm sorry," he said. "I have 4 hungry children to feed, a wife who isn't pleased with me, and a dear sweet donkey who is many months dead. I must cut wood to feed my family." "Each tree in this forest protects a sprite," the creature explained. "You cannot cut wood here at all. You will kill us." Twig thought of raising his axe, but found he could do it not. Instead, he nodded and prepared to go home, lifting the handles of the barrow, turning along with the path. "Wait!" cried the sprite. "For your charity, I reward you with 3 wishes. What do you wish for?" "Oh, I must consult my wife," Twig replied. "If she hasn't got a hand in choosing the wishes, she'll be even less pleased with me than she is now." "The next 3 wishes you voice will come true," said the sprite, "and I'm very sorry about your donkey." Twig hurried home, But it was late in the evening when he arrived. The children were asleep and Butter waited at the door. "Where's the money?" she asked him. "I have none." "Then where's the food? Surely you have sold the wood and spent the money and bought us food?" "I have not." "Idiot!" she cried. "Where's the wood, then?" Butter was not a cruel woman, but remember, she was very, very hungry. "I did not cut wood," said Twig, and with that Butter turned her back on him, stomping into the house, and busied herself sweeping the floor of the kitchen. Twig followed. He explained to her about the frozen forest and narrow path, the tree sprite who was frightened of wolves and ravens, and finally the 3 wishes. "I wanted to consult you before making a wish," he said. "Stop it," snapped Butter. "I know that there are no wishes. I know that there was no sprite. You slept all the day away while your children went hungry, and now you come home to me with a mouthful of lies. But it's true." "Let me prove it. I wish we had a fat, squashy sausage for our dinner." And with that, a fat, squashy sausage, warm and steaming slightly, appeared on the table. "See?" said Twig. "You wasted a wish on a sausage." "But you like sausage," said Twig. "I picked sausage because I knew you'd like it." "I'd like a larder full of food that would last us all winter," snapped Butter. "I'd like a cow that we could milk, or a garden we could tend. I'd like shoes for the children, or a donkey to pull your cart again. I'd like a bag of money, or 10 years of good health, or a husband with half a brain, which is more than the husband I've got," wishing for a sausage. "No one but a child would wish for a sausage." "I went in the forest like you wanted," said Twig. "You're a great noodle," said his wife, "mooning about your donkey for months upon end when your own children eat nothing but cabbage." "Aw, come on, let's eat the sausage," said Twig. "It's such a nice one." "Don't touch it," cried Butter. "If we eat it, we have to keep it. If we don't eat it, maybe there's a way we can undo the wish." "I'm hungry." Twig reached out. "No." Butter grabbed it. "It's a stupid sausage." They each had one end, and began pulling back and forth. "Don't say stupid sausage. It did nothing to you," said Twig. "Stupid, stupid sausage," said Butter. "Well then, I wish that the stupid sausage was on the end of your stupid nose," cried Twig. As soon as he spoke these words, the sausage sprang to the end of Butter's nose and attached itself there, fat and squashy. When Butter turned her head, it flapped her on the shoulder. When she nodded, it bounced. Twig laughed. He he felt pleased, the way one does when he has won an argument, until his wife, whom he really did adore, crumpled into a chair sobbing. The sausage shook as she wept. "If we eat it now," Twig said helpfully, "it'll look a lot better. It'll just be a little sausage stub on your nose, and no one will hardly notice." "I don't want a sausage stub on my nose," moaned Butter. "We'll eat it right now, then. We'll eat it right down," said Twig. "It'll be a very tiny sausage stub, I promise." "I don't want a very tiny sausage stub either." "We'll use the last wish however you want. Do you think a cow is best, or a donkey? Do you think we could get a donkey and a cow and maybe a pig all in one wish? Perhaps we could just say, an assortment of farm animals." "I can't think with this sausage," sobbed Butter. "Oh, come on, love," said Twig. I'll still think you're pretty with a sausage stub. Really, I will. And I don't think 3 figs if the neighbors talk. I don't give 3 figs if the neighbors talk." Butter thought for a long while. Finally she said, "I'm lucky to have a husband who thinks I'm pretty with a sausage stub. And I'm lucky to have a husband who doesn't give 3 figs if the neighbors talk." "Thanks, my dear," said Twig. He kissed her on her nose, right next to the sausage. It smelled delicious. "But I don't think I'm pretty, and I do care 3 figs if the neighbors talk. I cannot live with even the tiniest sausage stub, Twig. I truly cannot." And she began to cry again, crying for the cow and the donkey that they would never have, and the cabbage-sick faces of the children, and the unchoppable trees of the winter forest, for her sons and daughters' worn-out shoes in the barren land behind their home that would never be a garden. She cried, and Twig patted her back until all at last he said, "I wish the sausage off your nose." In an instant it was back on the table. Butter wiped her eyes and looked at it. "We're lucky it's still here. It might have gone entirely." That we are," said Twig. And so they ate half of it for dinner and saved the rest for the children's breakfast. They laughed at each other's jokes and patted each other's arms and talked about what they would do the next day and how they would work. together